Okay, Ireland versus the All Blacks. Everyone's dream World Cup final next year is taking place this weekend in the Autumn Internationals. Now, several things to look at. We've got some young, exciting players with the Irish side and some experienced players with the Irish side, like Devin Toner coming back in for the line-out, for example. And you just got to look at the All Blacks and just go, wow, how talented is this squad. Now, looking at last weekend's games, both teams won ugly, and Ireland battled on against Argentina and got a very, very deserved win, but the All Blacks could count themselves lucky, and they will not be very happy with that performance. They win by a point against England, and it came down to game management, and the All Blacks do a very, very good game management. But had England had better game management as well, that could have been a different story. So they will not be happy. They will want an improvement and bounce back. The Irish will also not be happy with their performance last weekend, but they had a more comfortable scoreline than the All Blacks. So both sides will want to seek to improve, and this is the ultimate test because many people believe this is next year's World Cup final. Many people believe these are the two best teams in the world. This is definitely the best Irish team we've seen, possibly ever, and this is one of the best All Blacks teams. Possibly not necessarily the best on paper, but as a unit, they're pretty good. They have been shown to have some weaknesses in the Rugby Championship, and England did expose some flaws as well, which is hope for the rest of the rugby world, because if the All Blacks continue to win every World Cup, it gets a bit boring and does sort of put people off. Now, what is going to decide the game? Breakdown is one. Both sides do thrive on very quick ball. But the Irish are very, very good in defence and legally slowing it down by counter-rucking. Now, it's going to depend on how many players the All Blacks are willing to put into a ruck and the Irish to put into a ruck. It also depends on how the referee is going to referee the game at the breakdown, how strict the referee is as well. That will have a massive part to play on the tactics that both the Irish and the All Blacks use when competing for the ball. The weather will also have a massive impact, so the kicking game is going to be key and line-out is going to be key. You've got to kick in the right areas, and you've got to manage the game appropriately. And as we saw last week, two ugly wins by two of the best sides on the planet right now. Game management is going to be key, but if you've got someone like Johnny Sexton with Joey Carberry as his backup fly half, I think you've got a pretty good playmaker there. Now, Sonny Bill Williams, for example, is missing from the New Zealand squad through injury, and that is a big blow. He's a cross-code player. He's a machine of a player. He's won both the Rugby Union and Rugby League World Cups, from the few players to do so. I do think that the Kiwis will miss him somewhat. It is a big miss when you lose a star player like that, and a player with such a skill set as that. Is it the end of the world? No. Do the All Blacks have multiple replacements for him? Yes. I think the amount of talent that the All Blacks have domestically, they could name 3 or 4 international sides on any given match day weekend. They really could. They have that much playing depth for such a small nation. The Irish are starting to develop that playing depth as well, which is terrifying for the Northern Hemisphere. So this is really interesting. But Sonny Bill Williams is out. So that is a cause of concern tactically. And the Irish may use to expose that channel that Sonny Bill Williams would have actually occupied had he played defensively, because the combinations have to change. So that's going to be an interesting little midfield battle there with the outside backs working each other out because of injury to one. The Irish have brought back, I think, Stockdale and I think Ringrose, or I believe. They've done a bit of rotation in their backs. Larmour, I think, struck to the bench. Carberry's on the bench as well. Devin Toner's back in the line out to add that line out stability that they didn't have last weekend. So the Irish have made the changes they need to do to feel that they've tweaked themselves for this week, and the All Blacks have had to make a forced change for Sonny Bill Williams being out. So there's your missing players. But what is going to be crucial? Kicking in the space, the line out and the scrum. It's basically, I think it's going to be just determined by game management and the forward battle at the breakdown. That's basically where it's going to be won and lost. If one or either side starts overstepping the mark and penalties, that could alter the outcome of the game. But the weather is the main talking point. Obviously, the weather is very autumnal right now. Get you a bit wintry as well. At the moment, it's very murky, overcast, drizzly. Bit of mist lying around. It's not overly windy. It's not actually as cold as it could be, which is a benefit, but it is going to mean greasy ball conditions and heavy underfoot. There's a chance of more heavy rain to come. So game management of the conditions as well is going to be crucial. The All Blacks are very, very good at that, and so are the Irish. I'm not going to say who's going to win here. It's going to be close. The Irish do know what it takes to beat this All Black side. They did it in Chicago, in Soldier Field, 2 years ago. And did it very, very well. And with what happened last weekend against England, there is some weaknesses here in this All Black side. But again, this Irish side weren't fully fluent against Argentina, had to grind out a win. So there's a lot to look at, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Irish have looked at the game footage from last weekend and their own game footage from beating the All Blacks 2 years ago to go, right, okay, where can we win this test match? They'll probably look at a lot of game footage, including the Lions tour as well, to go, where can they win the test match? A lot of these Irish players know what it takes now to beat an All Black side, and they have no fear. And even the great Tara Umunga from New Zealand has said, everyone in New Zealand is fearing Ireland. So there is, I think, a good rivalry brewing here for a long time to come, and this could be next year's World Cup final. So there we go. I'm going for a scoreline between my less than 5 points difference. I think it's going to be a close game. It kicks off at 7 p.m. Tomorrow. So it's an evening kickoff. Will that have an effect on the condition on how the game is played? Possibly on the floodlights. It could get a bit colder. The rain could come in. Bit of fog could come in off the seafront in Dublin. You never know. So anything's possible tomorrow night. It's going to be a close game. I think less than 5 to 10 points in it. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be attritional. I don't think it's going to be as free-flowing as either the Irish or the All Blacks would like. I think the weather conditions may constrict that. But kicking from hand is going to be crucial, and the breakdown is going to be crucial. That's where it's going to be won and lost. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your comments below. I'll have some more videos for you soon.